Hari. Whoa. Hari bol, hari bol, hari bol, hari bol. Hari, hari, hari bol. Hari bol. Vandeyam Shri Guru Shri Utta Parakara Shri Guru Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajata Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajiva Sadvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Deva Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajiva Sadvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Deva Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Nadita Shri Vishakanvitamscha Om Agyanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakukaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Om Vishnupadaya Gaunaprishtaya Bhutane Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Vaneti Namine Vandeham Bhakti Chakoram Gauranga Nija Preshtitam Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Samivanamanamastubhyam Shri Radha Eka Nishtitam Risayana Katam Ritam Sankirtanam Anandadam Goswami Vanam Namaha Shamaranim Mataram Vande Agnopiyadanugrahat Tagarat Bhavasaganascha Navetcha Krishna Premadhanam Shri Krishna Nupaya Vairikikala Visheshagnaya Namamyaham Pujayam Shamaranim Swapanikaraya Namaham Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shishimad Bhaktivedanta Narayaneti Namine Shri Krishna Nirkatani Sudaksham Dori Madhurya Ganesha Yuktam Paramviranyam Purusham Mahantam Narayanam Tvam Shirasarvami Namo Om Vishnupadaya Keshaprashtaya Bhutare Srimate Bhaktivedanta Vamaniti Namine Gaur Bhava Mayo Deha Ujvana Rasa Bhavaka Bhaktivedanta Vamano Rag Bhakti Pravartaka Guru Damni Chase Vasu Vaishnave Savadamati Grante Bhagavate Sakshak Goswami Verante Ratti Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutare Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaunavani Pracharine Nirvashesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Namo Om Vishnupadaya Charya Simharupine Shri Shriman Bhakti Pragyana Keshavitti Namine Hatimacha Charitraya Swashitanam Chapaline Jivaduke Sarataya Shandama Prema Dayane Gaurashraya Vigrahaya Krishna Kamaika Charine Rupanuga Privadaya Vinodeti Swarupine Prabhupadantarangaya Sarvasara Gunashaline Mayavada Tamoganaya Vedantartavade Namaha Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutane Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Yati Namine Shri Varshavanavi Devi Dvaitaya Kripabdaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Daine Prapave Namaha Madhurjvana Premadya Shri Rupanuga Bhaktida Shri Gaura Garuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dinatarine Rupanuga Veruda Pasidhanta Dvantaharine Namo Gaura Kishoraya Sakshan Vedanga Murtaye Vipralambara Sambode Pradambo Jayate Namaha Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Sarvashag Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Sachidananda Namine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanuga Virayate Gaura Vibhava Bhumestvam Nirjesta Sajdana Priya Vaishnava Sarvabhoma Shri Jaganatayate Namaha Vanchakalpatirubhyascha Kripasindubhya evacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagapate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Dana Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Irade Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jayatam Surato Apangur Mama Mandamate Gati Matsarvaswa Parambojo Idara Madana Mohano Divya Brindaranya Kapadrumada Srimadat Nagara Simhasanashto Shri Radha Shina Govinda Devo Preshtani Bisevimano Smarami Shri Marasarasudambi Vamshivata Tatashtitaha Karshan Venu Svaner Gopir Gopinata Shri Stuna Vrindaye Tulasi Devyaye Priyaye Keshavasyacha Krishna Bhakti Vrade Devi Satyavate Namo Namaha Panchatatvatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gauram Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Page 23. That's not morning time? Yes, okay. Oh, okay. I don't know. Can I do Krishna Hoite though in morning tune? Okay. I think I'm going to start a little bit lower. Krishna hoite chatu mukha, hoya Krishna sevan mukha, Brahma hoite nara dera mohati. Narada hoite vyasa. Madhvakahe vyasa dasa. Purna pragna padmana bhagavati. Nihari madhava vamshe. Akshobhya paramahamse. Shishamboli angi karakore. Akshobhyera shisha jaya. Tirtaname parijaya. Taradase gyana sindhu tore. Taha hoite doya nidhi. Taradasya vidya nidhi. Rajendra oiro taha hoite. Tahara kinkara jaya. Dhamaname parichaya. Parampara janabara mohati. Jaya Dhammadasya kyati. Shipurushatama jati. Tahuite brahmanya tirta suri. Vyasati tatara dasa. Lakshmi pati vyasa dasa. Taha hoite Madhavendra Puri. Madhavendra Puri Vada Shisha Vada Shishvada Nityananda Shri Advaita Vibhu. Ishvara Puri Kedanya Gauri Lanya Shri Chaitanya Jagaguru Gaura Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu Shri Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nayanya Rupanuga Jani Rajiva Ana Vishwambara Priyankara Shri Swarupa Damodara Shri Goswami Rupa Sanatana. Rupa Priya Mahajana Jiva Raghunatha Hanatara Priya Kavi Krishna Dasa. Krishna Dasa Priya Vara Narottama Seva Pada Charapada Vishwanatha Ahasha. Vishwanatha Bhakta Sata Dana Deva Jagannatha. Tarapriya Shri Bhakti Vinoda. Mahabhagavata Vada Shri Gaura Kishora Vada. Haribhajan Nete Jara Moda. Shiva Shaba Navi Vara Surya Sevya Sevya Pada Tahara Daita Dasanama. Prabhupada Antaranga Shri Swarupa Rupa Nuga Shike Shava Bhakati Pragyana. Gaudiya Vedanta Veta Maya Varota Mohanta. Gauravani Prachara Chandama. Pracharito Gauravani Bhakati Vedanta Swami. Pranito Prabhupada Kama. Kesha Priya Mahajana Dhamana Narayana Gauravani Tade Pranam Dana. Esaba Hari Jana Gaurangera Nija Jana. Tareda Uchiste Modakama. Guru Parampara Guru Parampara Guru Parampara Guru Parampara Guru Parampara Guru Parampara Parampara Guru Parampara. Page 44. What's that? Oh, okay. Do you want to do one? I don't know any harmonium very well. I mean, I kind of know. Let's see if I can do Gurudev Kripapandude. I'm going to do, that's morning melody. Kodoe dase trina pekshati hina babindu diya kodoe dase trina pekshati hina sakala samana kapadiya kodo sakale sahane boladiya kodo Nijamane sprehahina Ritesh Kati Dehonata Jata Jata Tabeto Gaibo Harinama Suke Aparadha Habehata Kabehe no kripa labia e jana kritarta hoi benata shakti buddhi namiyati din kodamode atma sata kripa bindu diya kodoe dase Trinapekshati Bindu diya kodoe dase Trinapekshati na Jogyata vichare kichuna hi pai Tomara karuna sara Karuna na hoele kandiya kandiya Karuna na hoele kandiya kandiya Prananada ki boara Gurudev Kripa Bindu Diya Kodoe Dase Trinapekshati Hina Gurudev Kripa Kodoe Dase Trinapekshati Hina Jaya Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva I'm just immediately doing the morning tune. Ebada, page 44. Ebada karuna koro Vaishnava Gosai. Ebada karuna karo Vaishnava Gosai. Bhatita pavana toma bineke honai. Pavana toma bineke honai. Kaharanika te gele Papa Dureja Hemona Doyala Prabhu Gebako Tapa Gangara Parasya Huide Pushate Pavan Gara Parasya Huide Darshane Pavitra Karo Etumara Gun Yadestane Aparadhi Tare Harinam Haristane Aparadhi Hare Harinam Tomastane Aparadhi Ahiko Vedan Tomastane Aparadhi Tariko Edon Tomara Heroye Sada Govinda Visham Tomara Hidaye Sada Govinda Visham Govinda Kohena Mama Vaishnava Paran Govinda Kohena Mama Vaishnava Paran Pratijan Me Kori Aisha Janane Raduri Norotame Koro Doya Apanaraboli Ebara Karuna Koro Vaishnava Gosai Evara Karuna Karo Vaishnava Gosai Pratita Pavana Doma Bineke Hona Pavana Doma Bineke Hona Jayo Vaishnav Thakur Jayo Vaishnav Thakur Vaishnav Thakur Jayo Vaishnav Thakur Jayo Vaishnav Thakur Jayo Vaishnav Thakur Vaishnav Thakur Jayo Vaishnav Thakur. Okay. Next, do you want to do Nitai? Are the Nitai songs under Shigora? They start at like 60, 58. 58? Yeah. It's just before Gord. Just one Nitai song? In the book or just one right now? Oh, yeah, in the book. No, there's like three. Oh, I see. I think there's one. No. You remember the melody for Nitai Pada Kamala? Nitai Pada Kamala Koti Chandra Susitala
Nitai Pada Kamala Koti Chandra Susitala Jechaya Jagata Jodaya
Jechaya
Jagata Jodaya Heno Nitarine. Can't remember actually. Hey, bye. Radha Krishna Paitena Krishna Paitena Jida Koridaro Niterpaya Se sambandha nahi jara Rita janma gelo tada
Se sambandha nahi jara Rita janma gelo tada
Se pasubado jola chara
Se pasubado
Itai na bolilo muke Majilo samsara duke
Itai na bolilo muke
Majilo samsara suke Tija kuleki kori betar Ahankare matahaya Nitai pada parisisa Ahankare matahaya Nitai pada pasariya Asatyere satya kori mani
Asatyere satya kori mani
Nitaya karuna habe Braje Radha Krishna padye
Nitaya karuna habe
Radha Krishna Pave Daro Nitaye Charana Dukani
Daro Nitaye Charana Dukani
Nitaye Charana Satya Tahara Sevaka Nitya Satya Tahara Sevakya Nitya Nitai Pada Sada Karo Asha
Nitai Pada Sada Karo Asha
Narottama Baro Duhi Nitai Moro Haro Suki
Narottama Baro Duki Nitai Moro Haro Suki
Rakoranga Charanera Pasha
Rakoranga Charanera Pasha
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Krishna
Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Subha Prabhu, do you know Guranga Bolite Habe?
Yes.
Sorry, Prabhu.
Gauranga bolite habe Pulaka sharira Hari Hari bolite Nayane babenira Araka benitai chade karuna hoi be samsara namora kabe tuchabe. Vishaya chadiya kabe sudaha bemanam meham mahera boshri vrindavana. Rupa Raghunatha Pade Hoibe Yakuti Kabe Hama Bhuja Boshe Jugala Piriti. Rupa Raghunatha Pade Rahumora Asha Patana Karoye Sada Narotamadasa. Goranga bolite habe pulaka sharira hari hari bolite na yane babinira. Jaya Gaur, Jaya Nitai, Jaya Gaur, Jaya Nitai, Jaya Gaur. Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol.
Jaya Jaya Sundara Nanda Kumar 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 Soraba Sankata Vrindavana Tata Soraba Sankata Vrindavana Tata Vitava Santa Vihara Vasanta Vihara Jaya Jaya Sundara Nanda Kumar Jaya Sundara Nanda Abhinava Soravasa Abhinava Kudmala Kucha Samujvala Abhinava Kudmala Kucha samujvala Abhinavakudmala Kucha samujvala Abhinavakudmala Kucha samujvala Kunchita kuntalabhara Kunchi kuntalabhara Pranai janerita Vandana sakrita Pranai Chonitavara Ganasara Chonitavara Sa Jaya Jaya Sundarananda Kumar Jaya Sundarananda Kumar Jaya Jaya Sundarananda Kumar Chaturajigan. Sorry, I keep switching. Chaturajigan chala Rachita raso chala Chaturajigan chala Rachita raso chala Chatulajigan chala Rachita raso chala Chatulajigan chala raso chala Radha Madana Vikara Bhuvana Vimohana Manjula Nartana Bhuvana Vimohana Manjula Nartana Ativa Gita Manihara Adhara Virajita Andatara Smita Vita Obita Nija Parivara Nija Balabjana Surita Sanatana Nija Balabjana Surita Natana Shita Vihara Davata Shita Vihara Davata Jaya Jaya Sundarananda Kumar Sundarananda Jaya Jaya Sundarananda Kumar Sundarananda Jaya Krishna Jaya Krishna Jaya Krishna Jaya Shri Krishna Jaya Krishna Jaya Krishna Jaya Shri Krishna wanted to do Palyadasi Gauri. Still want to do that, Prabhu? Yeah, there's like two melodies, and I got thrown off because I started singing this first line in a different one.
Oh, yeah.
So then I couldn't get back to the... What is it? What is the part you said?
Like at the end,
You want to play cartels or something? No, you play. Palyadasi Kori Lalita Sundari Amare Loia Kabe Palyadasi Kori Lalita Sundari Sri Radhika Pare Kale Milaibe Kapare Kale Aibe Agya Seva Samarpibe Agya Seva Agya Seva Samarpibe Agya Seva Samarpibe Shri Rupa Manjari Sange Jabo Kabe Manjari Sange Jabo Kabe Shri Rupa Manjari Sange Jabo Kabe Rasa Seva Siksha Tare Taranuga Hoye Radha Kunda Tate Taranuga Hoye Radha Kunda Tate Rahibo Harsitan Tare Rahibo Harsitan Tare Shri Vishaka Pare Sangita Sikibo Krishna Lila Rasa Moya Lila Shirati Manjari Shri Rasa Manjari Shirati Manjari Shirati Manjari Sri Rasa Manjari Shirati Manjari Sri Rasa Manjari Hoibe Sa Palyadasi Kori Lalita Sundari Amare Loia Kabe Palyadasi Kori Lalita Sundari Paramanande Sakale Miliya Paramanande Sakale Miliya Radhika Charane Rabo E parakata sirikabe habe E parakata sirikabe habe Paboradha padasava Palyadasi Kori Lalita Sundari Amare Loia Kabe Palyadasi Kori Lalita Sundari Amare Loia Shri Radhika Pare Kale Milaibe Radhika Pare Kale Milaibe Shri Radhika Pare Kale Milaibe Agya Seva Samarpive Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Radhe Jaya Sri Krishna Jaya Krishna Jaya Radhe Jaya Sri Krishna Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gora Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gora Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Sri Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Sri Radhe 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 Jai 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 Sri Radhe 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 Jai 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 Sri Radhe Oh Jaya Jaya Radhe Jaya Jaya Radhe Jaya Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Oh Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Hey Jaya Radhe Jaya Shri Radhe
Whoa.
Oh, you want to do this?
Yeah. Are you left-handed, right? Interesting. Okay. Tune. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Radhe 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 Govinda, Govinda Radhe, Radhe Radhe Govinda, Govinda Radhe, Radhe Radhe. Govinda, Govinda Radhe, Radhe Radhe 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 Govinda, Govinda Radhe. Radhe Radhe Govinda, Govinda Radhe, Radhe Radhe Govinda, Govinda Radhe. Oh, Radhe Radhe Govinda, Govinda Radhe. Oh, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe. Hey, Jaya Shri Radhe, oh Jaya Radha, Govinda Radha, Govinda Radhe. Jaya Radha, Raman Bihari Radha, Raman Bihari Radhe. Oh, Jaya Radha, Vino Bihari Radha, Vino Bihari Radhe. Jaya Radha, Damodara Radha, Damodara Radhe. Jaya Radha, Gopinatha Radha, Gopinatha Radhe. Jaya Radha, Gokula Nanda Radha, Gokula Nanda Radhe. Jaya Radha, Shama Sundara Radha, Shama Sundara Radhe. Sundara. Jaya Radha, Madana Mohan Radha, Madana Mohan Radhe. Oh, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe. Jaya Shri Radhe, oh Jaya Sachinandan, Jaya Gaurahari, Sachinandan, Jaya Gaurahari. Sachinandan, Jaya Gaura, oh Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Gurudev, Jaya Jaya, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Gurudev. Gaura Premanande. Oh, a long time of it. I know. Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Gurave Gorchandraya Radhikai Tadale Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Tadabhaktaya Namo Namaha Yam Pravajanta Manapeta Napeta Krityam Dvaipayano Virahaka Taruajuhava Putre Tritan Mayantayo Tadavo Banedush Tang Sarva Bhuta Hridayam Munimanatosmi Bhaktya Vihinaya Aparada Lakshai Chiptascha Kamadi Tarangamadye Kripa Mai Tvam Sharanam Prapadyam Vrinde Namaste Charanada Vrindam Tavevasmi Najivami Tambina Iti Vigaya Radhe Tam Nayanam Charanantike. So first I offer my heartfelt obeisances unto my beloved Holy Master, Nityalivishom Vishnu Pada Sotsochi Shima Bhaktivedanta Narayana Goswami Maharaja, also unto Nityalivishom Vishnu Pada Sotsochi Shima Bhaktivedanta Bharti Goswami Maharaja, Nityalivishom Vishnu Pada Sotsochi Shima Bhaktivedanta Vamana Goswami Maharaja, Nityalivishom Vishnu Pada Sotsochi Shima Bhakti Swami Prabhupada, and to all our illustrious Rupanuga Varga, our guardians on this path of bhakti, to Srimati Sharmanidhi, and all of you, Haribol. So, continuing our glorifications of this divine Tirabhav of our beloved Srila Gurudev, and also Avirbhav Titi, Srila Vaman Goswami Maharaj. So, one thing I was feeling last night was that at first I was kind of like, oh, Gurudev's Day on a Friday night, Kirtan night, kind of like difficult because we get so many guests on that night. At the same time, so wonderful because actually, like, not a lot of people really know about Gurudev. Like, they hear the name Gurudev, they see his picture, we distribute his books, but that it's kind of merged in, like, oh yeah, I go to the Grove, but this place is closer, or, that our speciality here is that this is Gurudev's temple and Prabhupada's temple combined, and that is a manifestation. As Sacred Vedic Arts is a manifestation of Gurudev's heart, and Naraman Bihari, manifestation of Gurudev's heart. So it's. I was watching this video where yesterday Gurudev just came up on my feed that Gurudev, maybe it was the walk, I don't know, that Gurudev was saying how Prabhupada created this mission, brought this mission to the West and this revolution around the world, and he said, I want to repeat miracle. I want to do that too. And after Srila Gurudev left this world in 2010, I was actually extremely sick and had this crazy mosquito disease. But I was also feeling like, what's the point of going on tour anymore? What's the point of traveling? That, Gurudev's not here anymore physically. And I didn't want to go, and so I didn't do anything about it. I was having all these emails. We were supposed to go to Hong Kong, China. Everyone was emailing me, confirming we need to confirm dates, we need to confirm your tickets, and I wasn't replying. And I met Srila Bharti Maharaj, and he was gave me new life and said, to continue traveling around the world. And when we got to the first place, we went to Hong Kong, we went to Singapore, and then I was like seeing all these people, and I was like, I've met Prabhupada, through his books and devotees, and the mission goes on. Like the mission, the pure devotee is always present. The pure devotee doesn't, disappear or die. I hate to use that word. Like we, you know, like jivas do. Not that jivas ever die, because the soul's eternal, but you know that they're always present. So in that respect, I felt last night was really wonderful, because so many books went out, and then even someone who's never met Gurudeva was like, oh, those blue eyes, you know, that coming closer. So yeah, Gurudev's blue eyes, they were so piercing, so gazing. They were so blue that actually they didn't want to let him into the Jagannath temple. They didn't think that he was really Indian. Yeah. So, and I just wanted to also share that Srila Vaman Maharaj, I'm sure I've told this here probably every year, but when I had darshan of Srila Vaman Maharaj, it was so intense, and his gaze, his glance he was already like in samadhi. I mean, he was live samadhi. He wasn't speaking. His caretakers were doing everything, but they would bring him out. Actually, I was in his room, and he always had tears like rolling down. And his stare was so intense that when I went in after my pranam, I touched his feet, and he was just staring at me that I didn't know what to do. So I opened my wallet. I just gave him all the money that I had. I just like put it on his lap. It was really amazing. And yeah, I had his darshan twice, actually. And then another time, it was so beautiful. They brought him out onto the deck at Devananda Gaudiya Math outside his room. And there was just a few brahmacharis. I don't know why I was there. Somehow me and Anita were there. Causeless mercy. And we were just sitting with him. And like he didn't say anything or do anything. And then his sevak just called out, hey, Krishnadas, Guru Maharaj calling. It's like, how did this, I mean, and the Krishnadas was downstairs chanting in front of Thakurji. Krishnadas was like the best kirtanier in the whole Gaudiya Math. He came running, and he sits down and he sings Shri Guru Charana Padma. And it was so amazing. It was so beautiful. So I feel very fortunate that I was able to have divine darshan of Srila Bhaktivedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj as well. And it was so near and dear him and Srila Gurudev. When Gurudev wanted to leave home and go join Param Gurudev told Srila Vaman Maharaj, Gurudev planned this escape. He like put pillows in his bed from his home life, and so that his family would think that he was still sleeping. And he left in the middle of the night. He took a train to Navadvip, to Navadvip station. And Param Gurudev knew, you know, the pure devotees know everything, and sent Srila Vaman Maharaj and said to call out Tuariji, because Gurudev was from the village in Tuaripur. And so on the late at night on the, what's it called? What are the things called where the train is? The platform, thank you. On the platform, Srila Vaman Maharaj had a lamp, and he's calling out, Tuariji, Tuariji. And then Gurudev was just like, how did you know? He's, Param Gurudev sent me. And so Srila Vaman Maharaj that picked him up and took him back to the Mat. And him and Srila Trivakara Maharaj, Gurudev says, taught him everything. And Srila Vaman Maharaj, so extraordinary, at 9 years old. You know, his mother's a disciple of Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. And at 9 years old, when he went to go, they took him to Mayapur to meet Srila Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur. He just knew at that moment, I want to give my life. I want to give my life to Srila Prabhupada. So, super extraordinary personality. He he learned like as a young boy all the verses, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. Srila Saraswati Thakur would give him, or Param Gurudev would give him a toffee candy for every verse that he would learn. Every day he would learn a verse and he'd get a toffee. So we're very fortunate to also have him as our Shiksha Guru. And there was one last thing I was thinking about Srila Gurudev. So many things. I can't remember what I was going to say. Anyways, it'll come back to me. But yeah, so on this day, as I was saying, of SVA being a manifestation of Gurudev's heart, and all of you being also a manifestation of Gurudev's heart, giving your life and soul to Gurudev's mission, I was thinking that the grandkids, Gurudev would always say, right, the grandfather is more merciful than the father. So you're very fortunate having Gurudev as your Param Gurudev. So I thought that you guys can share something. So Colin Haridas, Prabhu, first. Jai.
Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurimiddham Yena Tasmaya Gurave Namaha. Offer my obeisances unto my my Diksha Guru, Srimad Bhaktivedanta Vanga Samaraj, my Shiksha Guru, Pujaniya Srimati Shamarani Didi, who would definitely remind me to speak loudly and clearly. So, Haribol, and I offer my obeisances unto my Param Guru, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayana Goswami Maharaja, and Srila Bhaktivedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaja, who is divine appearance and disappearance. Days it is. Thank them for letting me speak, given this opportunity to purify my tongue, purify my mind, and yeah. So I was going to ask Sandy a question. Do you think I should keep this more about his philosophy or like a personal relationship to him? Okay. Okay. When I first came to Krishna consciousness, I had no idea who Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayana Goswami Maharaja was. Definitely had no idea who Srila Bhaktivedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaja was. Even the full name, Srila Bhaktivedanta A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, is actually a lot more than I would have known. We had like a little Kirtan Sangha in Philly. It was like the first 2 to 4 years, really the first 2 years of my Krishna conscious life. We would meet at a little yoga studio. It was a yoga studio devoted to bhakti practices. We would read Bhagavad Gita, but honestly, reading Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita, at first I was like, what is this? This guy's like, there's a God. And I'm like, give me a break, man. And it was like an hour and a half by the subway in the like Sunday mornings at 7:30, and I was like, all right, I'm good. But I loved Kirtan, so I kept going. And in fact, that was part of like the inspiration when I first left my job the first time, 2018. I'd been working for 6.5 years at Urban Outfitters. I had like made my way up the corporate chain, and I'd gotten to a point where I'd gotten a really nice promotion. I was working in the IT department. I was like, yes. I'm like, I gotta like see if this is like real. And I was like, oh, I hate this. So I left to go see what was real. And I went to India. At that point, I had literally no idea what Mangal Arti was. I mean, I was staying in the Mayapur area, like in the ISKCON compound. I don't know if it could go. What's up? Okay, a little bit faster forward. 1989. Sorry. Okay. Basically, what I'm saying is, it was when I first met the disciples of Srila Gurudeva that I really felt deep connection to Krishna consciousness. I remember it was actually the second time I met them. It was Vijay Krishna and Janardhan. It was actually more Vijay Krishna. Janardhan at the time was, I don't think he had a name at that point. He might have. And I found like something so special, especially the second time when I went to just a bhakti retreat. And it was like this really beautiful golden light. And I remember the books. I remember seeing Jaiva Dharma. And I just was like struck by it. And there was something so powerful to their connection to their guru and their connection to the bhajans, connecting to the singing, and like a genuine, like real, authentic connection. Like it wasn't like a contrived thing or like something enforced. It was something that was like, wow, this is really beautiful. I was supposed to be there for 1 week. I stayed for 2 weeks, and tried to learn as much as possible of the different bhajans, the different songs. And at the end, Vijay Krishna said, if you want to really bring your practice to the next level, go meet this woman, Shamrani Didi. And so I did. To me, what I've learned now is that Srila Gurudev has given not only us, but all Gaudiya Vaishnavas, especially the Westerners, an understanding of what our goal is. I've heard from, I want to say multiple Maharajas. I know at least one Maharaj who has looked at me and said, we didn't know what our goal was until we heard from Srila Gurudev. We meaning the devotees in the 60s and 70s, at least on like the general mass level, understood we want to go home, go back to Godhead. But they didn't know what that means. Even I heard from our Radhe Shyam Prabhu how the idea of Prabhupada as a gopi was just absurd, because they were thinking of like we get to pick like, I'm a cowherd boy, why would I ever want to be a gopi? You know, like a very like, you know, kids who are just 19, 20 years old coming to this and not really having any like deep understanding of what transcendental reality looks like or means. I guess actually I don't want to say that, because Srila Prabhupada gave everything. Srila Prabhupada gave everything in his books. It's all there. It's all there. The disciples needed that to be unlocked. You know, I've heard from Gurudevi many times that Srila Prabhupada gave us this treasure chest. And you both need somebody to be able to open up the treasure chest, and then within that treasure chest was another treasure chest. And that treasure chest was locked and needed somebody to open it. And Srila Gurudev, in his books, what's amazing is he just gives the philosophy and the highest goal constantly. He doesn't like hold back any punches, and he does it in such a way where it's so loving and so heartwarming. They said when he first left Mathura in 1995 to go to the Western tour, 96, thank you. When he left to go on his Western tour, that the residents of Mathura were so heartbroken. I just think of like when Krishna is returning to Dwarka. I know, Dwarkadish, whatever. But he's returning to Dwarka, and just reading the descriptions in Srimad Bhagavatam in the first canto, it's really beautiful how the whole city is lighting up for him. And then similarly, as he's departing from Vrindavan, the gopis, the Nanda Yasoda, and all the cowherd boys, they're so heartbroken as he's leaving. Their life and soul is leaving. And Srila Gurudev's in Mathura. He's in a place where people 1,000% believe Krishna was born here. This is the birthplace of Krishna. It's fantastic what he's done in order to deepen the understanding of what it means, how Krishna's appearance was and what his birth was and birth is. And so I personally feel extremely fortunate to Srila Gurudev to be appearing here, to be like born and in this body and being brought in by some greater force to this place, because I'm not born with any of those misconceptions. You know, to be born and then raised in a society where the conception, even if you're born in like a Krishna-centric family, there's probably almost no understanding of who Radharani is. There's no understanding of, the difference between Mathura and Vrindavan. And it doesn't sound like there's much of an understanding of what Vrindavan is as far as the mood goes, the importance of it. And so I'm grateful to be here where I don't have so many misconceptions weighing me down, and to be under the shelter of somebody who learned from one of the only, like the prominent person, I'm sorry for anybody on the live stream who is going to take issue with this, but whatever. The prominent person who learned from both Srila Prabhupada, what's it? Okay, cool. Srila Prabhupada and Srila Gurudev, and she's just able to give it. And I wanted to appreciate these two books, like, it's so fantastic also what the devotees took from what they learned from Srila Prabhupada. I think that this is what, like, Gurudev, one of her, like, big contributions that's really, really kind of unspoken about, but it's like a massive contribution, what she gave of her understanding of book publishing for Srila Gurudev. I mean, these books give everything. They, like, Way of Love is true. I mean, I know you were part of publishing it, but, like, Way of Love, yeah, Way of Love is truly our philosophy condensed into an excellent book that's, like, so perfect for somebody who's new. And it's not like it wasn't written in a way to be like, this is for new people. You know, just, he spoke it, and she, I mean, I'm guessing, like, so she, whatever the process was there that was happening, is a whole team had formed to be able to produce books like this, which are now fantastic for distribution. And additionally, they don't cut any corners. Not only do they not cut corners, but we've heard how Srila Prabhupada, he had to cut down so many jungles. Oh, we're not live? Okay. Well, that's good. Then nobody's offended. Oh, nice. Are we live? Okay. Well. So, Srila Prabhupada had to cut so many forests down. Got so many misconceptions of, you know, Mayavadiism, thinking, like, the deep thought, the deep societal and, like, understanding of, I am this body. Everything in relation to it is I, me, and mine. I am here to fit a certain. For anybody who just joined on Facebook, I'm right now describing what society thinks in its incorrect ways. No, it is incorrect. If I am this body and I am here to enjoy or here to fit a certain role, Srila Prabhupada had to just chop down forests. And then Srila Gurudev was able to speak, and a whole team, because they had learned from Srila Prabhupada how to publish books, was able to just come together and publish the books. I mean, it's fascinating to think about how they were able to just come together, work together, take what he was speaking, and then publish the books without him having to sit and write. I mean, he still sat and wrote many books in Hindi, but then they were able to just take the nectar flowing from his lips, the adara amrita, the nectar of his lips, and then spread it around the world. And it's, yeah. So, Gaur Premanande.
Thanks, Haridas Prabhu. So nice. Reminded me of two things. One, sometimes people would ask Gurudev, oh, Gurudev, I don't feel like I'm advancing. And Gurudev would say, oh, you want to go to Ayodhya? And they'd be like, no, Gurudev. And you want to go to Dwarka? No, Gurudev. Like, do you want to go to Mathura? No, Gurudev. You want to go to Gloka Vrindavan? Yes. You are advancing. So, as you're talking about knowing the goal. And the other thing, you're so beautifully sharing about the Way of Love. When we gave Gurudev the Way of Love, right when we got it off the printer, or like we got it really late at night, the first copy. So we went to his house in Delhi. He was in Delhi at the time, fortunately, 'cause that's where we print our books. And we went to his. He didn't have the mat yet. He was staying in devotee's home, and it was like 7 a.m, and we just went there. So he was under a mosquito net and chanting, and we gave it to him. And then when he opened it, it was so sweet. He opened it, and then there's subtitles between each passage, and it says, he went, "We are one family." That's like one of the subtitles. And then he said, I said that. He was so happy. And then he was flipping through. He was so happy with the book. He said they should go out in the masses. He said, and I believe he said even free, that they should go everywhere. And so that was really exciting. And I had one more thought, but I won't say it. So next, should we go girl, boy, Smokey? You want to share a few words?
Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. First of all, paying my obeisances to my Diksha Guru, Srila Narayana Goswami Maharaj, and my dear Shiksha Gurudevi, Srimati Shamrani Didi, and all assembled devotees. So, well, I was thinking that maybe I would speak at some point, so I was reading a little bit about Srila Gurudev, specifically from Srila Gurudev, The Greatest Treasure by my Gurudev, and I don't know, I was kind of just reading about his early life, and so I thought that, I guess, I know everyone has kind of heard this already, but I thought I'd tell about how he made his pastime of making the decision to join the mat, or to become a sadhu, leave all material life. And so let me think, is there anything else? So I'm so sorry. Oh yeah, so one day Srila Gurudev was, he wasn't Srila Gurudev at the time, but he was chanting, he was doing bhajan, he was chanting the name, and one thing I heard, it's unimportant, so he was working as a policeman at the time, and one day he was so absorbed in bhajan that he didn't get to work, and then when he looked at the time, he's like, oh, I have to go to work. When he looked at the time, it was an hour before he had to go. He was like, oh, I'm just not going to go, and then I'll see what the atmosphere is like tomorrow, and if I have to, I will give up the job. So then he went the next day, and then his boss was praising him about his performance, and then that he was so pleased, and that he was going to get a promotion within the next 2 to 3 months. And then Srila Gurudev told his coworker, oh, I didn't actually come to work. I don't know how this happened. And then he was like, what? Stop being silly. Yes, you did. But then, so he didn't argue, and then he went back home and pondered. He was like, the only way that this happened was that Sri Bhagavan, I was doing bhajan, and he came and took my form and did this for me. And then, so then that was one of the first, that was when he basically made the internal decision to leave material life, and what he said is that he didn't want to waste his life and in a material life. But then the second story that I hadn't heard before was that after this he was still considering leaving, and during this time there's also one of his coworkers would invite this disciple of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur to give Harikatha, and he only spoke Bengali, and Srila Gurudev did not speak Bengali, but he would just sit through his class and listen. And the only common language they had was English. So the first conversations that Srila Gurudev had about Mahaprabhu, about his teachings, were in English. And that was kind of my Gurudev says, was foreseeing what his preaching would be worldwide in the future. But yeah, so the final event that caused him to give up everything was there was like a paper that had gone missing in one of the police departments, and everyone was going frantic before like the boss came that needed it, and then he wasn't. He was just sitting there, and they asked him why. He was like, "Well, I'm not in this department. I can't help you." He was like, "Well, it'll encourage other people to help if you help." But so then he made this internal prayer that if I close my eyes and reach and I find the paper, then I will give up everything. And he prayed to Bhagavan like this. And then he was like, okay. So then he got up and he closed his eyes and he walked and reached his hand, and then he picked the paper. And then the paper that he chose was what they were looking for. So then he was like, with a simple heart and simple surrender, he made the decision to give up everything at that point. And when he was giving up the job, he told that he was asked what occupation he would take, and he didn't share that he said he was going to go do business because he considered that it would just be too difficult to explain to his family and to his job about, like, they wouldn't accept it easily. And he said that he was going to the work that is of no loss and all gain, something like that. And so it was the truth. And so after that, everything happened like Santi was told. He went to the mutt, and all of this history we are all experiencing. And I thought about this because it's also like what we see, like the pure devotee, their simplicity in their heart and their surrender. I don't know, I thought it was just very beautiful pastime. And we are sitting in the results of all of this. So I think also just thinking of Srimati Shamani Didi and how with what ease like they are surrendering, and it's just like so beautiful to also pray for just a little drop of this faith and steadiness that they have, and that they're constantly nourishing us to help us get there, because just the moment that we do that, everything is there. And so I pray that I can just be simple-hearted and like I think you said last night, like he's giving everything, he's giving the highest thing, but who is actually taking? Just praying for all of your mercies and Srimati Shamani Didi, and just so that I can just have a simple heart and be able to accept and serve with in like all 24/7 all the time. And so I'm just very grateful for this opportunity to even try.
Weeping is our dharma, so you're very fortunate. And sleeping is also service. So it is crying school. I entered the crying school. So beautiful. I was thinking somebody said something that triggered something that I can't remember. Oh man, yeah, so beautiful. Thank you. It's so phenomenal to hear our acharyas like early lives. I mean, Gurudev being a policeman, he's still even, in his 70s, 80s as he's traveling the world. And Gurudev was tough. I mean, funny and sweet and loving as can be, but also I remember one time in Devananda Gaudiya, my first Navadip Parikama in Devananda Gaudiya Mat, I don't know what happened, but I was like on the balcony. I was really far. There's so many people. But I saw Gurudev come on the stage, and he was just like upset about something, and he kicked a pillow, like the pillow for his backdrop, like, those round. And he just was like a soccer champ. You just see him as policeman. He just kicked it, and the pillow went flying. And I do martial arts, so I was so happy. I was like, yeah, that's my Gurudev. So, it's, yeah. So, yeah, beautiful early remembrances. Thank you so much. Oh, when he pulls him up, when he was falling? I've heard. Shiva tells that story all the time. So, okay. Gadagraja?
Om Gyanantimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. First of all, offering unlimited humble Dandavad pranams into the holy dust of my worshipful Diksha Gurudevi Shrimati Shamrani Didi. Similarly to my Shiksha Gurudev Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayana Goswami Maharaja and the entire Rupanuga Guru Varga and all assembled devotees, especially Vasanti and Atul Prabhu. Hare Krishna. So Gurudev, obviously unlimited things we could say. I know Gurudev by his disciples, and his disciples have touched me very deeply and given me so much guidance in bhakti in every way. And I take that directly as Srila Gurudev's mercy and his presence. We see it through his devotees, his Harikatha. But there's one thing that I kind of wanted to focus on that lately has been becoming more revealed to me of how significant a contribution this is. And actually how deep of a contribution this is. And I'll start with a story that I heard. Unfortunately, I don't remember exactly who it was coming from. I think it was Rupa Manohar Prabhu. But he said he was in a car with Gurudev one time, and they were driving. And they said, they were somewhere beautiful. They said, Gurudev, look how beautiful it is. Some pond or something. And he said, what is beautiful? And they said, this. So all I see is Prem Sarovar, So the contribution that I wanted to mention is Srila Gurudev's Braj Mandal Parikrama. And we know that he inherited this as a seva to his Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Kesha Goswami Maharaj. And compiled, we have this book, the Braj Mandal Parikrama book. And so much information is given about Vrindavan in this book. Like hundreds of pastimes of Radha and Krishna, all of their associates, all the pastime places. It's just, it's inconceivable how much is given just in this one little book, and it's amazing. And even last night I was watching this little, there's a video made of Gurudev's Braj Mandal Parikrama. And it's so nice for me because I'm, such insignificant person that I'm not, wasn't available to have that association. But I can see him, deal. And they were in Kamyavan, and he was explaining something that was so interesting. There was one rock where Krishna, or there was a footprint in the rock, one cowherd boy footprint. And he said, when I first came here with my Gurudev, we came to this place, and there was thousands of stones all around, and all of them had hundreds of flutes and footprints and cow prints, and like there was, you could see all the cowherd boys and calves, and he says, that place, I don't know where it is any longer. He said, but my Gurudev, he took me there. I was like, whoa, that's super transcendental, you know. And also, when we were just doing the Brajmandal, when we went to Nidhuvan, he said the same thing. He said, I came here many times with my Gurudev. You know, he said, this is such a sacred place. So we see these places are in Gurudev's heart, and he's bringing, you know, everyone there and revealing. And so that's just a contribution that's I wanted to specifically appreciate and glorify. And then, like philosophically, what is the implication of that? What he's giving is, it's actually very, very deep, connected also to, like what Haridas Prabhu and everyone is saying, that he's trying to give the prayojan, our topmost goal. So we see also he spoke on this verse, Upadeshamrita, Tam Nama Rupa Charitari Sakirtana Smrityo. So this is Tistan Braje Anuragi Jananugami. Essence of all advice is someone should spend 24 hours a day nicely, sweetly chanting and remembering the name, form, qualities, and pastimes of the Lord under the guidance of a particular Ragatmic association in which he is the ocean of the moods which he's aspiring for, and one should always reside in Braj, either physically or if not physically, by mind. So it might seem like a small contribution that he's giving, but he's giving the essence of all sadhana and bhajan, you know, just like in a simple way, you know, opening up what is actually Vrindavan Dham. And even we have the bhajan of Srila Gaura Das Babaji Maharaj, you know, the Kotai Go Prema Mai, Radhe Radhe, yeah, Ek Bar Dake Kunja Bane, right? So this is actually the sadhana of the 6 Goswamis. So it's not like a, you know, a lightweight thing. It's the sadhana of the 6 Goswamis to remember these places. And there's Srila Gurudev just giving to, you know, like someone like me, who am I, some random jeev, you know. The sadhana of the 6 Goswamis. Oh my God. It's amazing, you know, and all of his books are like that too, I've noticed, you know. And of course Prabhupada is delivering that thing, but I've always felt, and I feel, that the closeness of Gurudev's books and Katha and in his Shiksha it brings us so intimately familiar with the Acharyas. You know, like all of his books, like Venu Gita, Gopi Gita, you know, you open it up and he's explained, you know, here's the commentary of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Jiva Goswami, you know. So he's just connecting us in such a deep, intimate way, you know. And so yeah, I just wanted to mention that specific thing. I'm so grateful to somehow or other been given some kind of minute opportunity to contribute to his mission, and especially serve his dearmost Srimati Shamrani Didi, who's carrying all of these things in her pocket and in her heart. She's also following in this same way, you know, Brajmandal Jayadwani. Really interesting there. And so yeah. And of course, revealing the glories always of Srimati Radhika. You know, like what he's saying, Kotai Go Prema Mai, Radhe Radhe, you know. Yeah. So I think that's pretty good. Okay. Hare Krishna. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindhabhascha.
So nice. I was thinking that last night, actually. Gurudev would always say, if if no money problem, no visa problem, then come to Parikrama. And he traveled the world just to get us to go to Vrindavan. Really, that was his main, was to bring us all to the Holy Dham. So I just wanted to share one thing, because that Samukhi had said that, I mean, I was thinking, just came to me last night. I mean, I thought it, but it just like hit, something hits the heart about this being a manifestation of Gurudev's heart. And then you said we're sitting in Shamrani Didi's place in a way. I can't remember exactly what you said, but I remember when Bhaktivinoda Vishnu Maharaj came to GVO. Remember, and he said, I'm sitting in Shamrani Didi's Kunj, in her Seva Kunj. It was so beautiful, which is really Gurudev's Seva Kunj. But I read, the other day I was reading these, I have these darshans of Seva Kunj. Gurudev, do you have them? Gurudev, they're mostly in the ASL, but not like how they are raw. If you want, I can share them. About her with her darshans in 92 of Seva Kunj. So she asked Gurudev, isn't painting Sudra work? And she's so funny. Her humor is, where her mind goes. And then Gurudev said, Shrimati Chitra Devi used to paint. She was a very good painter. And she and Vishaka Devi both painted. In order to put this in your heart so that you can paint it, be a Palyadasi of Shrimati Radhika and do what she wants you to do. And somebody says, how can I hear her? I'm a conditioned soul. Gurudev says, your holy master will appear and take you. And on the other side, Shrimati will do so, and all bhavs will come. So I was thinking how, big whoa. I was thinking how, like, all of our acharyas, they do this, like, human-like leela, being a policeman, or, like, I remember reading about one disciple, Saraswati Thakur, who was on a boat in Mayapur, chewing pan, and he spits the pan into the Ganga, and Saraswati Thakur happened to be on the boat, and, like, tells him how sacred the Ganga is, and then he just surrenders his life. He said, I'm never going to chew pan again, and he surrenders his life to Prabhupada. But like the Leela to show us, that he's pure devotee and he's chewing pan. So similarly, when I was reading this, and I read this before years ago, when I read it this time, it reminded me when, too, Gurudev says in this darshan, well, Chitrasaki's a painter, and then in 2092, in 2003 or 4, I can't remember what year it was, when we were going through Sankari Kaur in Varshana. After you come out of Sankari Kaur, you end up in Chiksoli. And Gurudev just sat down for a second and said, it was literally like 30 seconds. And he sat down and he said, now we are in Chitrasaki's village. And he said, she is Sharmani's art teacher. So here he's saying, be like Chitra. And there he's saying, she's your teacher. So if she's your teacher, then where is she teaching you? And then, and the second thing was here he says, the last thing he says was, all bhavs will come. This is 92. And then in 2000, what? Kunj Kirtan. All bhavs will come. So he says that in 92. And then in 2009, when Sharmati was working on the Kunj Kirtan, she started the sketch. And before she goes onto canvas, she always shows this final sketch, the final line drawing to Gurudev for approval before she puts it on the canvas. So we were in Hong Kong, and Gurudev was in China, and Sharmani and Govinda Priya was with us. Sharmani and Govinda Priya's visas were denied. They said Sharmani's visa, her picture looked too religious, but I had by some good, what's it called? A knowing Sukriti of my mother. I had a visa that she had paid for, so I really wanted to go, but Brajanath said no Westerners could come because he was really worried about the drawing attraction of the police. Yeah, Gurudev didn't want any white people there because it would attract police, because it's you're not allowed to preach there. But I had a visa, so then once he got there and he saw things were chill, then I asked if I could come. Well, I had someone ask, one of the Hong Kong devotees ask, and Gurudev said I could come. So I went, and then Shamrati said, it was such a great instruction, We can't just go to enjoy the spiritual master. You have to have a reason. So she spent all day, and she finished the drawing so I could bring it to Gurudev. So, okay, go get this approved. So I took a bus with devotees, and when I showed it to Gurudev, and she told me to ask Gurudev, because Gurudev would always assign paintings. Like, there's always a pastime, right? Prem Sampu, Chamakachandjika, Gita, Damodar. But with this, he just said, paint a general painting of Radha and Krishna. And her general painting, she chooses Huhak Kushmanjali. But when you look at it, it's, without knowing the secret pastime going on. So she chose this painting. So she told me to ask Gurudev, usually tell me what to paint. And this painting, I chose the subject. Is it still your heart? Because Gurudev said, you would always say, can you paint? Well, for Sevakunj, he said, can you paint my heart? And the other paintings, he said, they're manifestations of his heart. So she asked me to ask him, is this your heart? Still your heart? So I asked him that. And then Gurudev said, she has all my bhavs. I've given her all my bhavs. So I thought it was so amazing to hear 20 years prior, and then showing the human pastime of going through it and doing it, doing that. So anyways, that was really ecstatic darshan. And there's a video of it where I labeled it Torki Vasanti because I was so awkward. I was so nervous. He was in his bed, and anyways, it was her mercy that I got to be there in China. So, Jai. Radha, are you going to say something? Sure. Yeah. Okay, she says, but isn't painting Sudra work? And Gurudev says, Shrimati Chitra Devi used to paint. She was a very good painter. She and Shrimati Vishaka Devi both painted. In order to put this in your heart so that you can paint it, be a Palyadasi of Shrimati Radhika and do what she wants you to do. And then Gurudev says, how can I hear her? I'm a conditioned soul. Gurudev, your holy master will appear and take you. And on the other side, Shrimati will do so, and all bhavs will come. I know, right?
Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. First of all, offering unlimited Dandavat pranams in the dust of the lotus feet of my holy Diksha Guru Devi, Srimati Shamrani Didi, and to all of my Shiksha Guru Devs, and especially to Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayana Goswami Maharaj on his divine disappearance day after, and Srila Bhaktivedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj on his appearance day. Yeah, I didn't really prepare anything, but yeah, I guess I feel like a theme I've heard throughout this is how Gurudev is living through his devotees. And I really witnessed this so starkly when I was in India and we were at Giridhari Gaudiya Math, and it was Srila Vaman Goswami Maharaj's disappearance day. And all the Bengali ladies, they're from the land of Mahaprabhu. So they're already kind of endowed in this devotional mood, being from that land and just having so much sukriti to be born in that holy tirtha. But yeah, just on Srila Vaman Goswami Maharaj's disappearance day, seeing these ladies during the Guru Puja just weeping and weeping for their Gurudev was so, so beautiful. And yeah, it's just so glorious to see their just deep connection, And similarly, to other devotees, I feel that my connection to Krishna consciousness definitely deepened through Gurudev's devotees.
I met a disciple of Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayana Maharaj, a really like far out hippie guy who just got Harinam in 2010. Like met him at like the end of Gurudev's pastimes on this planet, and he was super far out. It was in Sedona, so it's like a crazy hippie place, New Agers, But I was chanting Hare Krishna for a few years before that, and I was like, into it, but still was like living on the ground and like, living out of my car and stuff. And, but yeah, when I was going to different kirtans and stuff, but I still wasn't like sold, I was really into the holy names. I loved it. But the moods of some of the devotees that I was meeting, I couldn't relate to. I couldn't relate to the moods of Prabhupada because I was still very like, had a really hard feminist thing going. And I couldn't understand Prabhupada. I didn't have the Sukriti yet. And so, yeah, when I met that one devotee of Srila Gurudev, he was like, "You're a devotee." And I was like, "Yeah, I am a devotee." Because before that, I was just kind of, trying on all different kind of things. So it was empowering. I was like, okay, yeah. I do want this to be my life. This is my life, actually. This is the only thing that I've tried that actually, hits my soul. And then within the next 6 months, I met Vasanti, Shivananda Prabhu, and Krishnamai at Bhakti Fest, where I was working. Yeah, it was really magical because I walked up and I saw the picture of Srila Narayana Goswami Maharaj, and I was so attracted. Ever since I saw his picture and I heard him chanting japa, I was like so attracted. Yeah, when I saw that picture, I was like, whoa. And I had actually seen Vasanti at another kirtan, but it was just a passing time. And then I saw her again. I was like, whoa. And I got to hear Shivananda Prabhu speak some Hare Katha. And he was speaking about how Radharani is in the Maha Mantra, and I'd never heard anything like that. Had barely heard any Hare Katha, honestly. I just liked the Maha Mantra. But yeah, it was so beautiful and so attractive. Just feeling the moods there, I was like, wow, this feels like, I haven't felt association like that before. And so, yeah, Gurudev's just so merciful through his devotees. And I feel like meeting Gurudev's devotees, reading his books, has totally unlocked the mercy of Prabhupada, too. Because, due to my really deep Western conditioning and I'm like, feminist, which I still have that side of me, it's not gone. But because of that conditioning, because of my, really strongly held viewpoints, I couldn't access a lot of the mercy that Prabhupada was giving. Actually, I couldn't understand it. And then once I started reading Gurudev's books, once I started hearing from Gurudev, and once I met his disciples, all of it started to unravel. And then when I went back to Prabhupada, it was into his books and into his lectures. There was so much sweetness, actually. So much sweetness. And, that couldn't be experienced if I hadn't mercifully gotten the association of Gurudev's disciples and gotten the association of Srimati Shamarani Didi. So, we're so fortunate not only to be coming in contact with Krishna consciousness, but also coming in contact with Gurudev. Because, I have friends who are in Krishna consciousness but haven't had contact with Gurudev. And there's this, you can just sense the mood when you meet someone and you know that they've come in contact with Gurudev. I feel it, And in Badger, you really see that so starkly. When Vrinda Didi was here, and she comes, and we don't usually make sweets at lunch, but she's like, no, must be sweets for Thakurji. I will go gather mangoes for mango cake. And just such beautiful moods, actually. Such really deep. And it seems like, maybe me as a very materially conditioned being, maybe she just likes to bake. No. Very, very deep, loving moods. And getting to be in Badger and cook with her for for Govardhan Puja. So magical, you know, just like the deep, deep moods of how she's meditating on Gurudev. I felt so fortunate to connect with her right before this festival to see like what did Gurudev like, you know. And yeah, she was just saying like, she gave this list of things and like this ingredient, that ingredient, okay. But also she's like, really, you know, he was tasting our love, he was tasting our moods, and he loved khichdi made by Madhav Maharaj, you know. So yeah, I'm just praying that I may have like some little, semblance of that meditation to actually, in my service, remember Gurudev and remember these pure Vaishnavas, because we're, you know, it's through their devotees, you know, their association. So I pray to actually learn how to associate properly and to really walk outside and receive that shower of mercy instead of choosing to stay indoors because I'm scared of rain. I don't know, silly metaphor kind of. But yeah, that's my prayer. And that's it. Panchakapa.
So beautiful. We never really get to sit like this together. It's so sweet. And everything you're saying is reminding me of so many things, like with the feminist thing. So, you know, Gurudevi was married for 2 years to Satsarup. And so then when, in the 90s, when the GBC gurus were coming, Satsarup came to some darshans. I think there were a lot of Kushmanjali darshans in Bombay in 91, 92. And so because he was there, she couldn't go. And she was so upset. And she said, Gurudev, in my next life, I want to be a sannyasi. He's like, what? You want to be a sannyasi? I want to be a gopi. So like this. And even Srila Prabhupada, in I don't know what year it is, it's in ASL, but all the men decided they can't hear from a woman. So like one day there was no one in her class, like no men in her class, and they were all outside, and she was like, what's going on, you know? In New York, I think, or Boston? ISKCON. The men decided that they shouldn't hear from a lady, so they stopped going to her class. But Brajendrananda Prabhu went. Brajendrananda Prabhu from Badger said when he first came to the temple, it was the first class he heard was from her. And he always says, every time I see him, Sharmanditi gives the best classes. It's the first class I ever heard. But anyway, so then when she had Govindadasi, because Govindadasi was Prabhupada's secretary, and asked about it, and Prabhupada said, "This, if you think you're a lady or a lad, what did he say? Oh, yeah, he was angry. He said, because you think you're a lady or a lad, that then you'll think you can't associate or something like that. I'll find out the exact. Oh, right, yeah. That's another one, yeah. Oh, yes, yeah. And the other, there's a couple of things. Another thing, you kind of came up, you reminded me of it, and then you reminded me of it with Govardhan, so I have to share it, or the Bengalis, so when you shared about the Mathuravasis, the example, so when Srila Goswami Maharaj left this world in 2004, it was during Parikama, and so Gurudev said he has to go, he had to go. Srila Maharaj asked Gurudev to put him in Samadhi. So Gurudev didn't want to leave Parikama, but he needed to go. So he, remember when he got in his car and he was like waving to us and said, "I'll be back soon." It was so sweet. And then him and Shripad Madhav Maharaj flew to Bengal, to Calcutta, to Navadvip. And then in the night, some devotees, disciples of Srila Vaman Maharaj, in the middle of the night, did his Samadhi, because they wanted to show that they were the successors. And so when Gurudev got there and he saw that happened, he said, well, nothing for me to do here. And he left and he immediately came back. But when he got in his car to come back, all the Bengalis were blocking his car. Like you were talking about how sweet they are and how, in the analogy, it's just like I could, they all were blocking his car crying. They didn't want Gurudev to leave. They were like, no, don't leave. And they had to do like a whole clearing a way for his car to get by. They were shovers, yeah. And then Gurudev came back and he told us what happened, and he called them. He said, "These Guru Drohis," he said, "they're babies. Their milk teeth haven't even grown in yet." So, yeah, there was something else. Oh, about Shripad Maharaj's Khichdi. Gurudev would always say that Madhav Maharaj can even make a stone taste good. And he said Brajanath Prabhu, his secretary, Vrinda Didi's husband, can't even boil water. So, yeah. I remember, last thing I'll say then, I remember being in Hawaii one time, and Madhav Maharaj was teaching Madhav Rat how to cook for Gurudev. And so he told him like what to do. You put the rice on, do this. And then I was in the house. It was like a separate house where Madhav Rat was cooking. And all of a sudden the phone rings, and he answers it. And it was Madhav Maharaj. He said, "Okay, turn the rice off." And then Madhav Rat was blown. He was like, "How does he know it's done?" You know? Yeah. So, yeah, like this. Subal Prabhu, would you like to say anything? Share anything? Okay. Okay. Can you queue up? Or I can queue up. Did you want to? I want to. We're going to listen to like 2 or 3 minutes of Srila Prabhu's audiobook, his offering. Oh, cool. Yeah. JBL? Yeah. Okay, can you tell, and I'll get the time on the... It's audio, so I'll put it on.
I didn't know if I was going to share it or not, but now that I'm here, I think I should. Really amazing thing. This devotee, Pran Kishore, he told me one time, he asked Srila Gurudev about the Guru Parampara. And Gurudev said, one time Krishna was in one place and he was sitting and he was crying. And Radharani went to Krishna and had some discussion, and Radharani left Krishna and she was also crying. And she was sitting somewhere. And that one of her maidservants approached her and saw her in such a sad condition and asked her, "Oh, Shamju, what's wrong? Why are you upset?" And she said, "Oh, my Krishna his heart is hurting that there's jivas suffering in the material world." And she says, "I don't know what to do about it." And so then her maidservant said, I will go. And Radharani said, "You will do that for me?" And so then her maidservant said, yes, I will go for you. And Radharani said, "Okay, I will never leave you." That's what Gurudev told Pran about Guru Parampara.
I've been reading a book by Vishakaditi, who was Srila Gurudev's first Western disciple. And as I'm reading it, I'm like, wow, this is so good. I really want to share it with Gadagadra. It's not printed. It's like I go to a FedEx and print it. But he was teaching her, it seems like he was teaching her so much deep understandings of bhajan. I mean, it's about Archan, but something that I think it was what Vasanti was sharing. Yeah, what Vasanti shared about Chitra Saki reminds me of the first part of the book where she talks about how she was being instructed by Srila Gurudev that when we're chanting, it's at a certain point in our practice, Gurudev is literally right there and literally talking to us. So it reminds me how when you say like, "Oh, Chitra Saki taught her," I kind of want to ask her, if that means like literally of like, hey, that's, it's amazing. I assume that is what he means, but. Yeah. You read the audiobook? Cool. Oh, there we go.
See. Review 32. Kindness. O Gurudev, O Krishna, O Gauranga, O Radhe, you are all so kind that you have given us the holy names. Chanting them, we can immediately be in your association. This is the ultimate kindness of God. What intelligent person would not want to chant Hare Krishna? All intelligent would do so if only they had enough information about the glories of the Mahamantra. It is the kindness of the Vaishnavas which can make this happen. Kindness is an ornament which decorates the pure devotees. Kindness radiates from the very core of their being. Kindness is their most attractive quality. Kindness is their entry into our lives. It is radiant upon their departure from our physical observation. Their quality of kindness continues on long after their physically manifest presence. Anyone who has been fortunate enough to associate and serve any pure Vaishnava will testify to the above. Although the Uttam Adhikari Vaishnava is far from an ordinary human, impossible for our mundane intelligence to fathom, the quality of their kindness captures our heart. My Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayana Goswami Maharaja, captured our hearts through kindness. Sweetly placing those hearts in his pocket along with the fragrant flowers offered to him by the devotees, later to be offered with pure love by him to Srimati Radharani. It is only by remembrance of his divine spiritual kindness that I am existing in the current of devotional service. His and Srila Prabhupada's kindness gently pushed me from bank to bank of this current. One bank meeting them through Smaranam, the other bank lamenting in separation, lamenting the fact I never perform any pure seva. This handbook is an attempt at Guru Seva. There is a dire need for examples of how people from all walks of life can be spiritually benefited regardless of their ashram or varna. The acceptance of a pure devotee of Krishna as one kind's guardian, mentor, friend, guide, benefactor, well-wisher is not limited to the material constraints of time, place, or circumstance. State of consciousness such as waking, deep sleep, dreaming, turiya, meditation, or any other dimension, spiritual or material, are no obstacles for the Lord and his pure devotees to show their presence in our life. How is that possible? The answer is explained by the Bhagavatam verse containing the descriptive Sanskrit word, Hirdiyasmin. An Uta Mahabhagavat is able to enter the heart of all who have voluntarily accepted the pure mantras given by that Sat, eternal Guru. Shri Guru is the Diksha mantras, and the Diksha mantras are Shri Guru. They are the eternal, inseparable spiritual instruments the Supreme Personality of Godhead uses to bring the wayward jiva home. They together are supreme, unsurpassed kindness. There is a warning in the Upadeshamrita by Srila Rupa Goswami explaining the external kindness of a pure devotee may sometimes not be seen in him or her. He compares that to foam and mud in the sacred river Ganga. Externally, there may be foam, bubbles, or mud, but because the Ganga is actually the Paravomya river, separating the material from the spiritual, thus liquid transcendence. One should ignore such seeming lack of kindness. In our bound, conditioned state, we do not know what is really in our best spiritual interest. We are like small children running toward the street after a ball. Aspiring baby devotees like myself have to be restrained by our loving parent or guardian. A real well-wisher may often have to chastise the charge. A disciple may in the moment not actually know the depth of danger she is in. She may feel hurt emotionally, or he may feel mentally confused, even unbalanced in trying to adjust his thoughts and feelings about the whole relationship. Thinking such corrections are a lack of kindness. This is natural, in a most counterintuitive way to someone who has not studied deeply the position and consciousness of the most mysterious of personalities, the Uttam Bhakta. We babies prefer that baby talk be the symptom of kindness we think we need. This is natural as long as we are viewing ourselves as the only object of the preceptor's kindness. However, if we view the entire planet or even the universe as the target of Sri Guru's kindness, we will understand all treatment is designed for us to become a greater extension of Guru's kindness to all. We are meant to be part of the sun in Kirtan. In order to enter into the role of super kindness ourselves, we are asked to go beyond externals. Being awakened to the mood of selfless service to Mahaprabhu. The proverbial slap of awakening may be needed. Our martial arts sessions are designed to prepare us for these slaps. They are the actual physically felt blows and kicks delivered with the real force. Not of envy, but love. Everything we do is designed to show it is not any external activity which determines its spiritual efficacy. It is the internal mood of lovingly forcing our determination to trust our sacred, pure, loving guardians only want us to pursue our eternal blissful welfare. Krishna Prem, Radha Dasyam. That is the topmost expression of kindness.